Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Romavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavaर्थाय Shuddha-jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaaya Prashantaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabdhaye Namaha.
कटाक्ष किरणाचान्त नमन्मोहभये नमः।
Anantananda Krishnaya
अनन्तानन्द कृष्णाय जगन्मङ्गलमूर्तये।
There was a little confusion last time about Upahita and Upadhi Pradhanya. I sent you a small note on that. I hope it's clear. Any Upadhi is Jada. The Upadhi of the mountain is the mountain itself. That is Jada. That's not a problem. What about the Antakarana of the man on the mountain? That is also Upadhi only. It's different from the Upadhi like a mountain in the sense that it is Sukshma and has the capacity to reveal the presence of the Atma. But by itself, although you cannot really separate it either from the Atma or from the Sthula Sharira, this is also Jada. This is also Upadhi only. Then what is Upahita? Upahita Chaitanya. When seen not as an Upadhi, but this whole thing seen as influenced by, qualified by the Chaitanyam which is revealed by the Antakarana. Then what you see is Ajadam. It's sentient. And I sent you how the word Upahita breaks. Upa, Purva, Dha Dhatu, Dha, Dharana Poshnayoho. But meaning changes with Upa. And it has a Ikta Pratyaya, the one who does whatever is done. Ikta Pratyaya. Ikta Pratyaya is what is in Sanskrit grammar called Kit Pratyaya. When Kit Pratyaya follows Dha Dhatu, the Dha itself becomes He, Hita. He, and then Ikta has a Takara coming from this, so it becomes Hita. Dha becomes He, and therefore you get Upahita, Upahita. That which is qualified by. I hope that is clear now.
So it is reflected consciousness.
Sorry?
It's reflected consciousness, is it?
I didn't get that. Get that again?
A reflected consciousness?
Is it reflected consciousness?
No. Listen. The consciousness which becomes revealed because of the Sukshma Sharira, seen from that perspective, the man on the mountain is Ajada. You understand? Because you're seeing it from the Chaitanya, because what you call reflected consciousness is Chaitanya only.
Yes.
Chetana Vastu. Therefore, seen from that point of view, that man is a Ajada Vastu, Ajada. Seen as the Upadhi, whether it is the physical body or the Sukshma Sharira, Antakarana, it is Jada. Then it become what? Upadhi Pradhanya, where the main focus on the Upadhi. All Upadhis are Jada. Therefore, look Jada. Mountain is very clear. The man of the mountain also seen from the perspective of the Antakarana, which is also Jada, is only Jada. It is influenced by the or qualified by the Jada Vastu, Jada. But when it is seen from the perspective of, see, this Chaitanyam which is seen in the Antakarana and the Antakarana cannot be separated. So, but you can cognitively look at it from the point of view of the Chaitanyam or from the point of view of the Antakarana. Antakarana is Jada, Chaitanyam is not. So the same object looks like Jada or Ajada. So you have three things. You have the mountain which is Jada. The man of the mountain seen from the point of view of the Antakarana which is Jada is also Jada. But seen from the perspective of the what you call reflected Chaitanya, be careful in the use of these words. As long as I understand it correctly, I don't have a problem. Is Ajada. We are talking in this particular verse, how do you explain Jada, Ajada, Bheda? There is no Bheda. Jada, Ajada is only what qualifies the Sakshi or Atma. So it is only the qualifier that you see the Jada, Ajada difference, not in the Atma. Yeah. So in the verse itself, it says, Jada Jada Vibhagaha Ayam Ajade Mai Kalpitaha. It's not true. Vitti Bhage Same Chitra Charachara Vibhagavata. And then it gives an example. Like the picture running on a screen has both Jada Vastu and Ajada Vastu. But screen is the same. That is the example. Only that much.
The pictures are many, but the canvas is one. Yeah?
There is only one.
Swamiji, can we say like this, that since as the Advaita perspective, we all know that Atma is only one, there is nothing else. So rest, Atma is only the Ajada, and the rest of the things are all Jada.
Absolutely correct.
So in that way, if we look at it,
Chaitanya Vastu is Atma. It lends Chaitanyam as it lends the Satyam to everything. To some things you see the Satyam of, the existence of. Some things you see both existence and Chaitanyam.
as though existing, like Eva.
Good. Where do we stop? Can we continue from there?
2017, second para.
Okay. Who will read? Anybody who's not read so far, if you want to read, you're welcome to do that. Please don't shy away from reading if you can do it.
Nobody, ma'am. Shall I?
Mom, padingo. Nischayena.
Page 201. When a mountain is the Upadhi, the mountain Upahita Chaitanya is an object because it is only an idam pratyaya vishaya.
Here also it says mountain Upahita Chaitanya. Upahita is qualified by, as we saw the meaning. So mountain Upahita Chaitanya is an object, is is jada. Yeah.
Being an idam pratyaya vishaya, it becomes upadhi pradhana. Upadhi is the mountain. A mountain is a nama rupa. Upadhi means nama rupa. The mountain nama rupa is an idam pratyaya vishaya, an object of this thought, and therefore you are going to relate it to only a
We talk
jada.
about idam pratyaya all the time. What would be the counter out to the idam pratyaya?
Saha.
No.
Yeshaha.
Counter to idam pratyaya.
Aham.
Idam.
There aham. There are only two things. There are
Idam.
aham and idam.
Aham idam.
Aham is satyam.
Aham idam.
Idam is
Aham.
everything else.
Right, aham. Right.
Hmm.
We are going to relate it to only as jada. Another upadhi is called antakarana upadhi. So upadhi pradhanyataya, it is jadam eva.
Because every upadhi is only jadam. Meanwhile, Divyansh has a point.
Swamiji, like there is a lot of emphasis on this term Nama Rupa.
Mhm.
So can you like elaborate on this, because we say that all the mithya is Nama Rupa only, but the material is the Atma. So
Material, please put in quotes. You know what you're saying by material? What I understand.
Adhisthana.
Okay. Okay. That we've done so many times. I'm sure somebody else can also help Divyansh with understanding this. A little bit more about Namarupa. Who would like to go?
Also, like Rupa does not like only mean shape, it means like all the
Any form.
things senses
Any
can
form.
perceive.
Any form.
Yes.
Nama rupa, all changes, no, is vikara. Nothing permanent. It's not a permanent thing. So only the adhisthana is permanent.
Remember, we talked about so many examples. Gold and gold ornaments are one of the examples we saw.
Well,
In the universe of gold ornaments, you restrict yourself to that universe, then all the ornaments in that shop which is selling golden ornaments, necklaces, bangles, earrings, whatever, they only have a name. What is the name? A bangle is a name, a necklace is a name, and they have a form. The form itself also may have a name. Meenakari work, it is chunky gold work, whatever work. That is a form that has been given. And a name has been given to that form. And there is a third element, which is they've been done because there is a utility for it. A bangle is supposed to be worn in the hand. But if you want to know, no, I will not wear it in the hand, I will wear it in my head. That was not the purpose of the bangle. Although in these days, you can use anything anywhere, it doesn't matter. Correct? So you have name, nama, rupa is form which has been given to that, and a utility. But these are all mithya, because there is no real substance to any of these. They all depend on the substantive called gold for their existence. Correct? Now, this is an example where we are talking only about Jadavastu. Correct? Even the Adhisthana we talk about is Jadavastu. Because we have to understand from an example within this Jagat. And in the Jagat, everything is Jada.
Like
The
gold.
same example when extended, or you can take the dream example also. In the dream, really speaking, everything is only Namarupa. Everything is Mithya. Mithya that I have created, or the dreamer has created. in relation to the Satyam, which is the knowledge of the dreamer, of the waking, obtained in the waking state. But within that, within the dream, you have both Jada and Ajada. Both are Mithya. Both are Namarupa only. Both are such that they don't have an existence of their own. They depend for their existence on
And
this
Brahman.
knowledge, which is Chaitanyam. This Chaitanyam is what gives rise to the Jada objects in the dream Jagat, as well as
Ajada.
what looks like Ajada within the dream. So Nama Rupa indicate that which is objects which are non-self-existing, who have dependent existence both in terms of Chaitanyam and in terms of Satyam, easiness. Easiness is common to everything. But some things also show the effect of Chaitanyam. That we call Ajada. But both are anyway only Namarupa. Okay. Let's continue.
It is Jadam eva. Upadi Pradanyataya, it is Jadam eva. Because it is seen, Drishyatvat Jadam.
Drishyatvat Jadam. Because it
Drishyatvat
is
Jadam.
seen. Anything which is seen, perceived, touched, felt is Jada.
Drishyatvat Jadam. Every thought is Jadam. Because whatever is objectified as this idam, that is Jadam. But when your attention is only to the Chaitanya, not the Upadi, it becomes Chaitana. It's reality. From the standpoint of Chaitanya manifesting in the Antakarna Upadi, Upahita Chaitanya Pradhanyataya, conditioned Chaitanya Pradhanyataya, you become the knower. Swamiji, there is some footnote there. Should I read that?
There's the same footnote we read yesterday, no? It's continuation of the same footnote.
Okay.
We already read this.
Okay. So you become the knower. When you become the knower, then you are the Chetana, Ajada. In fact, what is taken as Jalam is also nothing but an Upadi for the same Chaitanya Atma. When you say San Parvataha Asti Bhati, the mountain is and is evident that Asti Bhati is the same Chaitanya alone. The seer of the mountain, the Bhokta, is also the same Asti Bhati, same Chaitanya alone. Therefore, Jada Vibhagayo, Vibhagoyam, Vibhagoyam, Dvitiya, the dual. Vibhagoyam.
No, it's not dual. Vibhagaha ayam.
Vibhagaha ayam.
Okay.
Vibhagaha ayam. Okay. Vibhagaha ayam is Kalpitaha Maya, Mayi.
Imagined by me.
On me. Kalpitaha means Adhisthana Ananyatvam. It has no existence of its own. The mountain is nothing but mountain consciousness. Not knowing this, one says Satta is there in the mountain. Chit is not there. But Sat is Chit. Chit alone is Sat. When you say mountain is, that Satta is nothing but Atma. Chidatma. Ananda Atma. So Sachidananda Atma alone is there as the mountain. Every rock, every particle, all are Sachidananda. every Vishesha is Kalpita.
Somebody want to explain this couple of sentences here? One says Satta is there in the mountain, Chit is not there. What is implying?
Basically, he is, I think, differentiating between Jada and Ajada, saying that it is not having an existence, it is not conscious of its own, but it is like tree, like mountain. It is Sthira Vastu. Thinking that Sthiratvam, he is considering it to be Ajada. But we all know that the mountain cannot exist of its own. It needs that Adhisthana for its existence. Like, I think we can extend it to science saying atom is the building blocks for everything. So for a mountain to exist, the atom is required. Here I'm equating Atma to atom, but for understanding purpose only.
The important is the next sentence also. There's another sentence. Sat is Chit. Chit alone is Sat. And both of them are nothing but Ananta or Ananda. To say that mountain has Satta borrowed, but there is not Chit, is where what he is explaining is not the way to look at it. There is only Sat Chit Ananda, everything is only Sat Chit Ananda. In the mountain, you can feel the Satta because you know it exists, the easiness of the mountain. But as he said, he doesn't feel conscious. It's not sentient. Where it will become sentient when there's a Chit aspect also in there. But that's not the way to look at it. Chit aspect is there. Sat Chit Ananda is one. There are no three different things. Sat Chit Ananda or Ananta is the same. So all are there in everything. All meaning there is only one Satchidananda Brahman, which is everything. But what I can sense is only the Sat. I cannot sense the Chit because there is no medium for me to perceive the existence of Chit. But Sat is Chit. Chit is Ananda. Ananda is Sat. So it's there everywhere. It is not only there in the mountain and the man of the mountain, but also everything between them. All the space is also Satchidananda. There is no separate, discrete items, a man on the moon, another man on the moon, a man on the mountain, another man on the mountain, and the mountain. There's nothing separate thing. There's only one indivisible Brahman called Sat Chit Ananda. That is why the word Sat, Chit and Ananda, what we need to understand is not their Vachyartha.
Yeah.
Vachyartha will apply to things in the Jagat. But when we look at Atma, Brahman, what we need to look at is Lakshyartha. Sat Chit Ananda Padanam Lakshyarthameva Brahman.
Class rep.
Vachyartham. So Vachyartham belongs to the Jagat. Only words. Lakshyartham is Atma. So he says, one says Satta is there in the mountain, Chit is not there. That if you understand it correctly, I don't care if you say that same, but what he says, Sat is Chit. Chit alone is Sat. So when you say mountain is, that Satta is nothing but Atma, Chidatma, Ananda Atma. That Sat Atma is Chidatma, is Ananda Atma. Everything is there. Satchidananda Atma is only one. Not one Sattatma, one Chittatma, one Anandatma. Yeah, shall we continue?
You are on mute, Jagdishan.
Sorry?
Jagdishan ji is on mute.
Jagdish, you are muted.
Okay. Questioner. But then why the man is sentient and the mountain is insentient? Why this Jada, Ajada, Vibhaga?
He is not giving up. He is going on asking the same thing. Jada, Ajada, Vibhaga, Jada, Ajada, Vibhaga. Hmm.
Swamiji says there is no real vibhaga because it is kalpita. Questioner, all right, even for a kalpana, there must be a hetu. What is the hetu? Questioner, for a kalpana hetu, another kalpita bheda must be there. That is sukshma sarira, which is capable of chaitanya abhivyakti.
Hmm.
Sukshma sharira upadhi accounts for chaitanyasya bhanam and abhanam.
That's clear, no? The presence of Sukshma Sharira Upadhi gives it the Chaitanya Bhanam. You can see that Chaitanya is there.
The shining, is it?
It is not there, then you get Abhanam.
I think there is a
Not
typo
that-
mistake here, Swamiji. It should be the Swamiji. Questioner
Yeah,
rendu vaati
you're
vandirukku.
right. It's an answer, so it should be
Answer.
Swamiji. It's not the questioner continuing. You're right.
Therefore, yatra yatra sukshma shariraha vartate tatra chaitanyasya bhanam.
Chaitanya can be perceived wherever Sukshma Sharira is there. And
Because of
where
the
Sukshma Sharira
effulgence.
is
Because
not
of the
there,
effulgence.
sorry?
Because of the effulgence.
No, because it is like a carrier for your Chaitanya.
Oh.
Chaitanya is like a reflector for the Chaitanya.
The bhanam is
it shines, it is visible,
shine, yeah.
perceptible. But if Sukshma Sharira is not there, it is not Bhanam.
Mm.
In the mountain, there is no Sukshma Sharira, therefore, Chaitanyam is not Bhanam. Therefore, we call it Jada.
That is why it's insentient.
Yeah?
That is why we call it as insentient.
Yeah, that's why we call it Jada or insentient, right? Yes,
Swamiji, I would like to add on. Recently, I saw a video about this trees being jada and all. They're saying for something to be sensitive, it needs nervous system. So as per science, plants don't have nervous system. So don't say that plants can experience pain and other things. So plants can be eaten. It's basically an argument for vegetarian and non-vegetarian thing. So this, because like you explained earlier also, that doesn't have a sukshma sharira, so it cannot have any consciousness. The jada vastus, like trees and other things. So this explains
Tree
it
has
actually.
Sukshma Sharira.
No, tree doesn't have.
There is a
limited sukshma sharira. Like it doesn't have a nervous system.
Doesn't have a nervous system, but there is a limited consciousness, as was proved by Jagdish Bose. Correct? He showed that they react. For example, trees have the ability to bend towards the sun because they need the sun.
Yes.
A rock does not have that ability. What gives it the ability? Certain internal system in the tree gives it the ability. It has the ability to spread the roots where water is, either deep or along the
Aerial root.
So there is a limited amount of consciousness there.
Chaitanyatvam.
In whatever form the Sukshma Sharira, which is not visible to us easily, only to a scientist with very high precision instruments, he can say the tree is crying. Not only that, you look at how trees grow. All of you who have plants in the house, tell me, when the person in the house, particularly the lady of the house, tends to the plants personally, speaks to the plant, cajoles the plants, they grow very, it's been proved over and over again, and we've all seen it ourselves. So there must be some communication happening.
I remember the Japanese experiment trying to have control this thing, and somebody singing and praising the plant, and it grew very well. And somebody chastising and then condemning, it withered. Japanese
experiments show that.
Actually, in Auroville there is one particular one. When I visited Auroville in Pondicherry, So there was one French guy who was sitting in front of the garden trees and playing music to it. He says it enjoys. They enjoy the music.
Yes, yes. I'm saying it is an experience a lot of us have. When the lady of the house attends to the plants, attends to it every day, it grows beautifully, it flowers, it fruits. And when she goes away for a vacation, then she engages a gardener who comes every day, waters the plants, puts in the same thing that she does. Water the plants, puts in the necessary whatever things they put in the
That
plant.
personal attention is not there.
But it doesn't grow the same way.
So it's
A
able
lot
to
of us
distinguish.
experience it personally. Yes, Divyansh.
Swamiji, since we are talking about Sukshma Shariras here, I have one question. I think in Vivek Chudamani, you said that the Sukshma Sharira cannot exist without the Sthula Sharira. But like in Puranas and elsewhere, we have like there are different yonis like Preta, Bhuta, etc., etc. And like in the Garud Puran, they have all the like how the Sukshma Sharira transmigrates like from one body to another body. Or like in the Bhagavad Puran also we have Dundu, what is Dundukari? That's a story of a Pret or something. So it appears that the Pret is only the Sukshma Sharira, not the physical body. Is it?
Yes, it is right. They have probably the ability to spend a short time between bodies, but they can't exist on their own without the body for any length of time. They have to have another body. That body need not necessarily be this kind of body. We know bodies here which are trees, plants, animals, and humans, insects, all the rest of that. But there may be various other kinds of sharira which we don't know about. If the jiva, which is the conditioned chaitanyam, conditioned by the sukshma sharira, after the death of the physical body, goes to another loka, it must have a sharira there also. We don't know what kind of sharira it might have. And these stories in the various Puranas are stories. How much of it we should absorb, how much of it we should take with a pinch of salt, I'm not sure. Again, the same Purana, there's some reference to Arjuna going to Patala Loka in, I don't remember the whole this thing, but he sees a different kind of Sharira there, like a Naga Sharira or something like that. Does anybody remember what that is? Where Arjuna goes and finds these Sharira? So maybe what is happening is that the Sukshma Sharira cannot exist for long. Although there is, for example, something called a Trisangu. A Trisangu is when the Sukshma Sharira leaves this Sthula Sharira, but does not immediately acquire another Sharira. It hangs in what is called a Trisangu.
Midair, in the midair.
And when we are told that we should do this various karya, shraddha, etc., it is to ensure that the Sukshma Sharira conditioned jiva does not suffer in the Trisangu.
In between.
Desperately seeks a body, a physical body, to allow it to go to whichever physical body is destined for it. You know, these are areas where I don't want to get into a debate because I don't know enough. But what I have understood of this is that Sukshma Sharira cannot exist, perhaps for a short period it can, I don't know, on its own for any length of time. Perhaps.
It has to find a new body.
It has to find a new body.
Uh,
Either find a new body or recognize the truth and therefore does not require a body.
In Shiva Swamiji, in Shiva Bhujangam, Shankara says the Yatana Sariram is traveling. The Kinkara, that is Yamadutas, are taking the soul to other this Naragas and all. That time, Prabhu, you have to come and save me. You have to give me your darshan. Like that, he is praying, and he describes the entire route, how it will be. That is why it will be so aparam. That is, there is no this one end to that road, and it will be very dark. There won't be any water. There won't be any people in that path. When he is taking, you have to give me a Manoranchita Margam, he will be pleading. For that sake only, on the 12th day of anybody's death, we are giving the Brahmins the chapel, water, this umbrella and all the danas. To cross that road in a smooth way, we are giving danam, we are giving, he says.
Thank you. Devansh has something more to say. Yes, Devansh.
Like I have like heard many things. So one of the things is that why suicide is like shunned upon is that if you like end the body before its prarabdha, the Sukna Sharira keeps on like uh, it stays still on this plane. But the desires are still there, like that like whatever it needs to wants to enjoy, but it does not have a physical body to use those. So it then disturbs other like beings to fulfill its desires.
Possible. Yeah, let's continue.
Okay. For a questioner, for a Kalpana Hetu.
Not questionnaire. This must be Swamiji. It's an answer.
Answer. Okay.
As Ratnamji pointed out, Sugi somebody pointed out.
There is no real Vibhaga because it's Kalpita. That's what Swamiji says. The questioner.
No, but after that questioner said, all right. To that also, where is the Hetu? To that also Swamiji is replying.
Okay. The next page we'll go to, sir.
No, continue, for a Kalpana Hetu.
For a Kalpana Hetu, another Kalpita Veda must be there. That is Sukshma Sharira, which is capable of Chaitanya Abhivakti. Sukshma Sharira Upadhi accounts for Chaitanyasya Bhanam and Abhanam. Therefore, Yatra Yatra Sukshma Shariraha Vartate Tatra Tatra Chaitanyasya Bhanam. This is the cause for the Kalpita Jada Ajada Veda. Within Brahman alone, among the Namarupas, those which have a Sukshma Sharira appear as Ajada. And those that don't, Sukshma Sharira Varjita, appear as Jada, like a dead body or the dead branch of a tree. The Jada Ajada Vibhaga is due to Sukshma Sharira Bhava Abhava. That is the only difference. There is no division in Brahman.
Eventually, all of us have to graduate out of this. All of this that the question is asking is mithya. All of this is nothing to do with Satyam. But why do we study all this? Why do we discuss all this? Why do we debate all this? Because that is all we know to begin with. Then we start looking, saying, but this is Jada, this is Ajada, this is, therefore there should be Veda, there should be something. In fact, the next verse, I think, next or next after that, I don't remember, but it talks about you calling it a Sakshi. Sakshi Chaitanyam. The Sakshi Chaitanyam must have a Vastu which becomes the object of the Sakshi. Again, you are Veda. Nothing exists. Sakshi we use only as a term to understand and move out of. like that, the whole argument goes like that. Which is why the very beautiful Shankaracharya's compositions, both Dashashloki and Nirvana Shatkam, what are you talking about? What Mata, what Pita, what Guru, what Shishya? Nothing. When we study Mandukya Upanishad, Karika, we will see all this. Gaudavada Acharya dismisses all this out of the hand. But to begin with, we see all this. We say, oh, it's a Sakshi, it is presence, and presence does everything. There is nothing to do. There is nothing being done. All that is Kalpita. So we try and read all this, try and understand it as best as we can, but move up. Reject all of these things, negate all of these things. Yes, Ratnji.
Swamiji, when just now we have said everything is Kalpita, why discuss about Atma's journey into this loka, that loka, when there is no such travel at all? Why discuss and waste our
Absolutely right.
time on all that? Is
Absolutely right.
my strong objection. Many times people get
I
into.
think you're absolutely right. But what happens is, look at people there are people who don't study this at all. For them, the Jagat is all there is. And they've moved out because they are Astikas. They have studied at least learned something of the
Vedas.
Yeah. And they've understood that there is something called lokas. There are all these 7 lokas, 7. What lokas? What is? You are part of the Jagat.
Then not one person who has gone to Swarga and come back and told Swarga is like this.
Nobody can. Nobody can.
Still we believe on that Swarga, and we pray for Swarga Loka.
I accept the Karma Kanda also as a pramana. Karma Kanda says there's Swarga, so there's Swarga. Okay. No harm done. I told you, all these things are, the methodology used is, we accept everything first.
And then neti.
And then we reject everything, including Maya. And once you reject Maya, there's nothing left. Everything comes after Maya. The whole Jagat, including all the cosmos, including all the lokas, including the Shishyas, the Guru, everything.
The strongest culprit in our this Ajnanam is this Maya. Maya is driving us, putting us left, right, and center whenever we want. Suddenly we drop down about all this Advaita class, and then we get into
Maya. We can put
discussion.
everything under the carpet. We can push it. It's all mithya.
So that's why Maya you use initially to explain this Jagat, the known world and the unknown world. You use Maya. Once you understood, then you understood also the nature of Atma, then Maya also is negated.
They said there are 84 lakh creatures, embodied creatures. 84 lakhs.
Maybe even more, I don't know.
No, that's what.
So we have to begin. That's one of people who study science and they tell you there are so many species of things, there are so many fishes, so many types of this thing. All that, we say, okay, they're there. We're not saying no. But we show that they are non-self-existing. Once they're non-self-existing, they have no real adhisthana, and their adhisthana has to be something which is fixed, which is the Atma. All of them can be called Kalpita.
This 84 lakh embodied creatures are Kalpita, you say?
Yep.
The entire Jagat is Kalpita. Jagdish Singh, exactly what I'm trying to say. When the entire Jagat is Kalpita, where is 84 lakhs?
84 lakh species.
Talk about the cosmos is Mithya. The entire cosmos is Mithya. So where is the question of 84 lakhs in this earth?
Out of this whole thing, one species is called Manushya. There's some 8.5 billion.
Only one out of 84 lakhs is Manushya. Anyway, so
we are now talking at a level which is somewhat higher. We are talking about not the Aropa level, apavada level. Negation of things which we begin with to accept just to get us going. Like I said, next, I think one of this verse or verse after that, something they're talking about Sakshi also, same thing. We will see that.
So, Swamiji, just if I may add on,
Sure.
something related to connecting both these verses, this current verse 19 and the previous verse. Right, one thing that occurred to me was the previous verse talks about dream, just to clearly indicate that the entire Jagat is Kalpita. Right? And this verse talks about us being able to see both sentient and insentient.
Correct.
Where there is a analogy given about the painting on the wall, which I think you also highlighted last time. We can compare it with a movie, seeing a movie on the screen, right? So one thing that occurred to me, the difference between the dream and movie, both are good analogies to understand this Kalpita. In the dream, if you just stick to the dream example, you might get a fear, because in the dream, there is no possibility of you knowing your true self until you wake up. That means the dream is gone. Whereas we are talking about moksha where it is here and now while we are living. So movie is a better example to relate, because in movie also what happens, there is a kalpita element where there is every possibility that you lose your true self by assuming you to be one of the characters in the movie. If you do so, then along with the movie story, you get all the emotions, you get all the disturbances. The moment you realize you are not that character, you are just witnessing the movie, then you are more relaxed. Then you are not disturbed anymore about the story, how it goes, right? So the movie allows you to imagine that, yes, moksha is a possibility, right? You can detach yourself by removing the misidentification. So in the movie, first I misidentified myself to be one of the characters in the movie, and I went through suffering. But the moment I realize I am not that, then I am only a witness sitting back and relaxing. And as I sit back and relax and enjoy the movie, I am not bothered how this movie was made, how this movie is being projected. So that answers again what Divyansha asked, and how Ratnamji said that, it is all mithya. Why do we care about it? Right? It is like that. So once you realize you are only witnessing the movie, I am not at all interested how this movie was made or how the projection is happening now. I am just sitting back and enjoying the movie. That is exactly what a jnani does once self-realization happens. Right?
I think once Jayarajan said this example, another thought came to me just now. You as a viewer of the screen, you're saying, imagine the actor who is really acting that character and living that character, and then once he removes the makeup, he comes back to his own self. That guy has got more potential to become a realized soul, because he is really living that movie.
That
And the
role,
moment he removes the makeup, he is gone to his own self.
The role he plays.
Yeah.
Right.
True. All these are good observations. This is true. The thing is that all of these discussions are also mithya. Everything is mithya. But we need to, our own brain, our own thinking, our own logic has to bring us to a level where we don't really worry too much about it. You will see this happening. I've seen this happen again and again. When particularly young people, when they start the study, they're sincere, they want to understand. But the kind of questions they come up with are all to do with the Jagat. All to do with this, all to do with why it can't be like this, why like this, why Sukshma Sharira, why Sura Sharira, why this, all that. But slowly as they begin to understand, their questions change. Their questions have more to do with the reality of I. How do I get out of this? How do I understand this? Because what is happening is that at the early stages, I is very strong. My ahankara, my I sense is very strong. as I go by, as I do more Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, the I sense begins to get modified.
Is it because of mellowing down, withering? Is it because of mellowing down and withering?
Not just mellowing on, you're understanding.
Understand.
You understand this thing better and better and better. Once you read, second time you read, attend classes again with the same topic, or same topic presented differently by another Upanishad. Each time you go up one notch, or two notches, or three notches. Then the kind of questions that come to your mind change. Today, Anand is not here, but he's a classic example. 7, 8 years ago, when he first came to study, very serious, very sincere. He and some of the others would have great discussions among them. The other day, I was talking to him, and he said, yes, the kind of questions I had in my mind when we started, very different from the kind of questions I have in my mind now. Think like, for example, is Ramayana a real story? How does that matter? Maybe it is, maybe it is not. Maybe it is partly fiction on which Vyasacharya has built, or in Mahabharata, Vyasacharya has built a whole system. That does not affect what we are trying to do, which is to understand the truth of the self. There are people who keep arguing, they come up with all kinds of things. I read a book the other day which talks about how to date Ramayana, how to prove that it is real. All those places where Rama went have been traced and identified. Very good. And then somebody else will come up with another set of arguments saying, no, this can't be real. Good, you people discuss. It does not affect my progress in my sadhana. But in the initial stages, those become very important questions. Till you come to the stage when that becomes unimportant. More important questions take place in your mind. So this part of what we're trying to do here, this and the previous one, as Jaya said, they talk about mithyatvam. Whole mithyatvam, if you understand of the word, of the Jagat, you're halfway there already. And this is what these two verses are trying to do. He's going to take further, like I said, in the further verses, he's going to talk more about these things. Amazing text this is. Yeah, we have a few more minutes. Shall we continue reading?
Okay.
Unless somebody else has some other points.
The Jada Ajada division, conscious inner division, is Ajade Mayi, Chit Swarupe Atmani, Eva Kalpitaha. In this expression, Ajade Mayi Kalpitaha, Ajada is another type of Ajada.
Read the footnote.
It is not based on Ajadatvam, which is opposed to Jadatvam.
Read the footnote on the Ajada.
Okay. The word Ajada is the second quarter. Ajade, Mai, Kalpita has a meaning which is very different than the same word in Jada, Ajada, Vibhagoyam. The first quarter of this verse. In the second quarter, it stands for Chidatma Swarupa, which is the Mukhyartha of the word Ajada. Paramartika Satyam. Whereas in the first quarter, Ajada means insentient, which is Amukhyartha, the Vyavaharika meaning.
You understand what he's saying? If you look at the verse itself, the word Ajada appears twice. Jada, Ajada, Vibhaga, Ayam. In this Jagat, you have both Jada Vastu and Ajada Vastu, or apparently Ajada Vastu, what we call sentient Vastu. These Ajade Mai Kalpitam, Ajade Saptami, Mai, Paramatmani, Kalpitam. This ajada is different from that ajada. This ajada is the, for want of better word, pure consciousness. Atma Chaitanyam. That ajada is Chaitanyam like a reflected Chaitanyam.
With
That
Maya
is-
component. With Maya, does it mean it's got the Maya component?
It has upadhi.
Upadhi. Okay.
And
Yeah.
the upadhi is a medium for showing us the presence of the Atma through like a reflection. It is not that you are actually sensing the Atma, you cannot sense the Atma.
Chidabhasam.
Chidabhasam. So this ajada, that's why you use the word mayi, in me,
In me.
kalpitam. So Swamiji explained that very nicely here. Word ajada in the second quarter, ajade mayi kalpita, has a meaning which is very different from the same word in the jada ajada bheda. In the first quarter. In the second quarter, it stands for Chidatma Swarupa, which is the Mukhyartha. That is the main meaning of the word ajada. Because that is the only ajada really. Chaitanyam is the only ajada. Everything is as to ajada.
It's pure consciousness.
Yeah. For want of a better word. Which is the Mukhyartha of the word ajada, Paramarthika Satyam. The only one that is the
Absolute truth. Paramarthika.
Whereas in the first quarter, ajada means insentient. That's why the words you can use to separate these, sentient, insentient in this jagat, it is as though ajada. The vyavaharika meaning.
Relative truth.
Yeah. Okay, we'll stop here today and continue in the next class.
Thank you so much.
Somebody mark the place where we stop. Continue.
Yeah, 204 end.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti.